All right now we are getting ready for our 135-pound title. Mr. Alex Gluzman here, getting ready to make the walk from Jocelyn's MMA. He had a great showing last card against Nemo. You know, Nemo, a really, really heavy striker. Most times when people fight Nemo, they want to take it right to the ground. This young man was ready and willing to stand with Nemo and bang as well as grapple. So I'm excited to see him in here against Ryan Hickey. Ryan Hickey coming to us out of Canada. Really decorated competitor, student of the game. You know, he's had a few fights fall out at the last minute. He's always ready, always willing, always game to fight. You know, really, I could see this going either way.
And this is for the 135-pound title.
Yep. Ryan Hickey coming out of Pathway Jiu-Jitsu in Canada. One of those guys or girls who are coming from that far away to compete down here.
Well, that usually tells you something. That tells you that they're hungry for a fight. And it tells you that they have the kind of support staff that can travel with a guy, make him feel comfortable, make him feel ready, make him feel worthy of this opportunity.
And it shows them, and it shows the value of this promotion and fighting for this promotion, because there are other promotions in Canada, plenty of them that they could fight in. The fact that these young men and women make this trip down to this casino for this promotion to compete with this roster speaks volumes.
And is this the only fighter from that camp that's fighting here tonight?
From each of these guys, yes. Yep.
That says a lot.
Pathway. Yes.
That says a lot, too, because a lot of times you'll bring a couple of fighters so that it's not a wasted trip or whatever. Not that it ever would be a wasted trip, but they brought him here tonight for one thing and one thing only. And that's a title.
And if you notice, Gluzman has Andrew Chirico behind him. Andrew Chirico trained out of Henzo Gracie Latham for a long time, competed here, competed pro a little bit as well. So I'm not sure what that connection is. But, again, having somebody like that in your corner, you know, is always a plus as well, because they've been there and done that.
You are a wealth of knowledge.
I am the modern-day Cliff Clavin. A giant head full of random facts.
Well, it's anything but random tonight. It's coming in a little handy.
They keep me around for a reason, Brian.
Well, considering I've been out of it as much as I have, I wouldn't be able to do this if it weren't for you. Thank you, by the way.
We make good teams.
Well,
sir.
It really is a privilege to be here with you.
Just remember that on the radio Monday. Don't say bad things about me.
Never. So now I got confused because the last fight, Kyler was the champion, correct?
That was actually, I believe it for an interim vacant title. He had it at one point, lost it, and then just regained it.
Now it makes sense because I don't want to refer to somebody incorrectly
as a
challenger.
I actually forgot that he had lost it along the way, and then he worked his way back up and just regained a vacant title.
So what is okay? So the scenario is what? Is this another vacant 135?
No, Ryan is the title holder. Ryan Hickey is the title holder. He's the reigning title holder. You know, like I said, he's had a few fights fall out the last minute. One guy didn't make weight. One guy's medicals, this, that, and the other thing. But again, he's always a consummate professional. Always. And, you know, and he has made the trip down here before and gotten stiffed on a fight. And just really, he's got a great attitude about it. He loves the sport. He's a great ambassador for the sport. Somebody who you really welcome in the cage.
Now, we've seen a lot of knockouts tonight. We've seen a lot of stoppages. We've only had a couple of decisions. What do you think? If we set the over-under for rounds at 1.5, are you going above or are you going below?
I'm going above 1.5. I think both guys are skilled enough that they're not going to try to make it an ugly fight. They're not going to try to swarm. They're not going to put themselves in a bad position. You know, the risk versus reward of the first round and a half is not going to be that high. Some people are, you know, they go a reckless abandon and anything can happen. These two young men, they know what's on the line, what's at stake, and the magnitude of the situation.
Listen, as much as people like to see the quick knockouts and such, there is something to be said for guys at this level fighting for a title. And we're going to see some very highly skilled stuff, and whether it takes 1.5, 2.5, or 3 straight rounds.
Well, you know, I'd rather see 3 rounds of like Nat Kaba and his well-versed skills. You know, I'd rather see something like that than just some heavy knockout in the first round, because you're able to really see the art, really see the sport for what it's meant to be.
Yeah, Kaba was impressive tonight.
And that was just one example. I mean, we got a lot of guys, Kyle Kaler, Daniel Keepers, Hayden Speckhardt, a lot of very well-rounded mixed martial artists tonight. And again, you notice the official checking the back. We talked about the old days when they used to put the Vaseline all over. Those days are over. I used to affectionately term those days the wild, wild west of mixed martial arts in New York.
Oh, it was wild.
Oh, it really was. Gluzman very calm. Again, I was very impressed with his last fight. That's why I think this is going to be a great fight. Both these young men are very composed. Ryan Hickey ready to go.
Showcasing some of his boxing and striking abilities.
And, again, correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan, but I want to say he's like a white-collar worker, like an engineer or something, too. So he's like a really smart guy that just likes to compete and likes to fight.
That's incredible.
It is. It's awesome. When you speak to him, he's very intelligent, very well-versed, very respectful.
Yeah. There's so many ways to grow the sport and to bring in whether he's an Ivy League guy or an engineer or family guy or whatever.
You just don't see that often.
You don't. You absolutely don't.
Because most guys that have that kind of a situation don't necessarily want to put themselves in this situation.
Yeah, you have to be a little off to want to get punched in the face and do it on a regular basis. Did you enjoy getting punched in the face?
Yeah.
You did, huh?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah?
Yeah. My teammates used to laugh a little bit in sparring because I would get hit and I would just kind of smile through the mouthpiece.
Yeah.
I got a giant cinder block for a head, though.
But in the heat of the moment, does that get the juices flowing? Some guys need to get hit in the head,
yes,
right? Before
there are those guys that need that jump start.
Were you that guy?
No. I've trained with guys like that, though. I mean, it didn't really bother me, but I've trained with guys where you had to hit him and then they turned on, and once you hit him, you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I just made him mad.
Yeah.
Damn.
I just turned him on now. Now it's going to be a rough 3 rounds with him.
And those fighters, though, are electric. I mean, that's the Arturo Gattis of the world and stuff like that.
I
love
love those fights. The Mickey Ward, Arturo Gatti
the
fights.
Best. Those are the best. Absolute
Some of the best fights in boxing history.
I think it's the 7th round in fight 1. One of the just great rounds you'll ever see.
Absolutely amazing.
That fight, if fight fans at home have not seen the entire trilogy
take a Saturday and watch it.
Absolutely.
Before we introduce our fighters for our co-main event, we want to take a moment and recognize a very special guest at cage side. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Harry Wilson. He is down here in the blue shirt, wave high. He is going to be running for governor of the great state of New York in this election cycle. So let's hear it for him, ladies and gentlemen. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our co-main event of the evening. It is for the Cage Wars Bantamweight Championship. This championship fight brought to you by Cage Wars MMA and Sticker Mule. And it is presented by Jules Design Studio, Ryan Clark Realty, Bricklayers Local Number 2, Local Allied Craft Workers, UA Local Number 7 Plumbers and Steam Fitters. And we also want to say a very special thank you to our friends from Two Strange CBD located out in the lobby, as well as Against the Cage with Ben and Jay. This championship fight is sanctioned by the United States Muay Thai Association. The judges at cage side for this championship bout are Mr. Chris Belinsky, Rob Exisa, and John Bernard. Your fight doctor at cage side, Dr. Michael Sheridan. And now, ladies and gentlemen, scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds, it is championship fight time! Introducing first, he is the challenger. He weighed in at 134 pounds even, representing Jocelyn's Mixed Martial Arts out of Ontario, Canada, Alex Gluzman.
See, both these guys are out of Canada, so they're coming out of Canada.
And his opponent fighting out of the red corner. He also weighed in last night at 134 pounds, representing Pathway Jiu-Jitsu out of Ottawa, Canada. He is the current reigning, defending bantamweight champion, Ryan Hickey.
Jocelyn's eyes have not left Ryan Hickey.
I mean, you're right about Hickey. Looks like a scientist.
Super nice guy, very well spoken.
I can't wait for this.
Jocelyn has not stopped staring him down, though. He is intent. Much more focused and intense than even in his last fight. Again, we talked about the magnitude of the situation. He knows it.
I mean, you can feel it. It's definitely ramped up inside here tonight. These look like two very, very skilled combatants.
Again, that's why I'm going over 1.5.
With the slight lean to Hickey, you think?
I would give the advantage to Ryan with his depth of experience.
And he runs right out to the center of the cage.
And if you notice, Gluzman has a very long stance, so I'd be curious to see if Hickey can take advantage of that. Maybe start chopping that front leg. Yep. That's one of the only downfalls having a very long style stance like that. Some guys like to do is you hop in, you hop out, but that calf kick is there for days. Now again, but if Hickey's going to throw that, he should really step off center as he does it. You know, you can tell that Gluzman's just trying to get his timing. He's trying to wait for Hickey to throw that kick and then land that heavy punch straight down the middle.
And you called it too. You said that this was going to be a different pace, different skill level for these two fighters, and we're seeing that early on here.
Yep,
both of them
respect each other's technique, their abilities, their power. You know, but again, Ryan being very smart, really attacking that front leg because that's going to hurt his ability to move.
Hickey looks tremendously athletic.
Agreed. Throws that Superman punch,
Yep.
you know, varying up his techniques.
Skilled. Just missed there with the leg kick.
And if you notice, though, Gluzman is staying right there. He's feeling out the distance. He's really trying to establish that distance and that tempo so that he can counter-strike. See, he's trying to time that kick. But again, Hickey's doing a good job moving.
I mean, like you said, though, Hickey's stance, he's so long, and he's got so many different things that he can do. I mean, Hickey's got an arsenal of weapons.
He really does. He's well-versed everywhere. Gluzman was really good with his hands last time. He's good with his footwork. You know, he was good on the ground. But I think, again, when we talk paths to victory, I think that Ryan Hickey has a wider skill set. That doesn't mean that, you know, Gluzman's not going to win this, but he has more paths to victory. More opportunities to seize a moment. And again, if you notice, Gluzman's really starting to key in on that calf kick. He says, okay, you're going to kick my calf and punch your face.
Well, that was some moderately decent contact there up until that point. I don't think the scientist had even been hit yet.
The scientist.
I don't know.
I love it.
I don't know that anybody refers
love
to
it.
as that, but it's
Pretty
pretty obvious.
He could be the mad scientist.
The
I like
mad
it.
scientist.
Now, Hickey's nose is a little bit red. It looks like Gluzman tagged him a few times. And, you know, Gluzman's best opportunity is going to be here to slow this fight down and stop Ryan Hickey from moving as much as he is. Because, again, you know, Gluzman being a lot more heavy-footed.
That was a nice little combination, and he's winning the last minute of this round.
He's a tough and gritty guy. And this is why I said I expect it to go more than 1.5 rounds. You know, I really expect both these guys to do enough to keep themselves out of danger, but still try to hurt their opponent.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Hickey almost seems confused by him a little bit.
Well, I think that instead of gaining momentum or gaining a feel, I think that it started to favor Gluzman as the round went on a little bit, starting to feel Hickey out.
That was a good. I think that was a good round for the challenger. I mean, good round for both guys. I mean, I don't think that Hickey really lost anything. You're not going to lose the fight in the first round, and I think like he's trying to just get his timing. But a good round for the challenger for sure.
Yes, but again, Gluzman's a little bit more heavy-footed, a little bit more plotty in his footwork. You know, I would like to see Ryan, throw those calf kicks, throw the leg kicks, but put some hands behind him so that Gluzman can't time them like he's been.
Slight lean to the champion there?
Yes. Yeah. That could go either way because Gluzman was really trying to assume the center of the cage.
I know it.
So it depends what those judges see.
And he did he did have solid strikes that landed in the last 35 or 40 seconds when there really wasn't a ton to score.
Yeah, and there wasn't really necessarily grappling. That's a tough round to really call. You're going to have to give it to striking and the cage control. So, I mean, I would have to give it to the champion. I mean, to beat the champion, you got to beat the champion.
Well, I agree with that. If the challenger did win that round, it was slight, which in the judges' eyes might not have been enough.
Exactly. Whether people want to say it or not, a lot of times you kind of almost subconsciously may give that to the champion.
And I don't think oh my.
Oh, nice.
Well, he knocked him down, so he's got his attention and the judge's attention now.
And again, that comes from him having his feet planted, being able to transfer that force. Oh, making Hickey shoot. Oh! He caught him.
He looks very uncomfortable in there right now, Hickey does.
Again, Gluzman says, well, we're going to stand here and throw some punches. It looks like Hickey's going to want to shoot now. He's bloodied up that nose.
And Gluzman is just waiting to strike. And so far, his timing has been tremendous.
Well, and that's why he ate a few of those leg kicks in the beginning, but he was feeling that timing out. He was feeling that distance, that tempo.
And
Hickey slowed down quite a bit.
Hickey's got so much range. I mean, wouldn't you just leg kick, leg kick, leg kick?
But you got to throw a punch with it because Gluzman's timing those kicks now, and he's following him back in with heavy hands. You know, if I'm Hickey right now, I'm throwing some punches before those kicks. You can throw that naked kick and Gluzman just respond with a punch.
I mean, if I'm Gluzman right now, I'm starting to feel pretty good about myself. I mean, this has been pretty much his round so far, early going.
Oh, if I'm Gluzman, I'm sitting down on my punches, I'm biting on my mouthpiece, and I'm trying to deliver some punishment right now. Because Hickey has tasted the power.
So you talk about paths to win, and you thought, and you might be right still, Hickey had more paths to win.
More ways to win. Gluzman's way to win is with these hands.
What can Hickey do right now? He's got to neutralize something, right? You said go for the takedown?
I would look to take this to the ground to secure this second round. But again, once you get rocked like that, it makes you a little gun shy. You know?
Well, it's true. He's got to come into the danger zone, and he has gotten hit a couple times.
And he's not as willing to get into that danger zone right now. You saw him pull that jab out, you know, and he committed, but he didn't enter the eye of the storm.
Well, there it is. And didn't really do much, you know, didn't really get it.
Nice knee by Gluzman. Nice underhook by Gluzman. Hickey just kind of trying to slow this down a little bit. Gluzman, good job turning off the cage.
And you get the sense, too, that Hickey feels like, okay, I got to turn this on here. I mean, he's definitely, you know, he's not backing down.
Less than a minute left.
But he needs to do some work. He could steal this round. Assuming that the challenger has the slight edge here, which I think he probably does.
Less than 30 seconds, folks. Round number 2. And again, if I'm Hickey's coach, I'm yelling, close this round out. You know, leave something in the judge's mind, because right now it's not looking good for him in the second round.
And he literally has 10 seconds where he could change everything in the mind of the judges, but he's got to go.
I really feel like those couple of heavy shots really interrupted Ryan's thoughts there and his pattern of attack.
Well, if there was any ambiguity before, there certainly isn't now. I mean, I think at best it's 1-1, and it might be 2-0 challenger.
I think it could very well be 2-0 in some of these judges' eyes. Very impressed very impressed by Mr. Gluzman. Excellent job by Alex.
All right, let's go
Here
back
we
and
go,
watch.
Replay. Oh, he ate that right
knockdown.
hand. And again, because he was trying to close that distance, so he kind of magnified the force. And if you notice, after that point, he goes for the shot. Oh, got hit again. So each time he got rocked, he was entering, you know, the entrance, and he got hit. So that's why for the rest of the round, he kind of stayed on the outside and would pull that jab out.
Well, he hasn't seen a whole lot of success, you know, with it. I don't know. Does he have a third or a fourth path?
You know, I think that Ryan knows he's got to do something in this round by the look on his face.
Oh, he really does. I mean, he's got to do something pretty dramatic, because at best it's 1-1, and he could be down 2-0.
At best it's 1-1, exactly. Big Dan getting ready to start this third and final championship round.
Well, this is going to be interesting.
And again, Gluzman looking super focused. Eyes not leaving Hickey the whole time in between the rounds.
Gluzman is a very good striker, and he's very fast, and he's super accurate.
And he's excellent with his takedown defense, as we've seen.
Yes. On the surface, he looks like he would just mainly have a boxing background, but clearly that's not the case.
If you notice, Gluzman went to the underhooks instantly. He's very aware in the clinch, but a lot of these guys have not been tonight. The underhook is the key to turn that opponent off of that cage.
So this is obviously, I mean, this is Hickey. This is Hickey making a stand here.
Yes.
And he has, if he doesn't pull this off, I mean, he's going to have 2 minutes to go for just an actual knockout, good old-fashioned knockout.
And he's throwing that heavy right hand. I mean, I think he feels a sense of urgency right now.
Well, he must.
Very rightfully so, you know. Gluzman doing a great job defensive striking, moving the head off center line, pulling away from the strike, and then coming right back in. And again, if you notice, you got double unders there. He understands where he needs to be to keep himself safe right now.
And I think these two guys are sort of separating themselves. I think that Gluzman might even be winning this round as well.
I would agree so far. We're about halfway through.
I don't hear the urgency in the champ's corner. Do you?
No, I'm not
you?
hearing. No, I'm not hearing it. Well, every camp has their own style. You know, I mean.
Do you, as a fighter, do you like that? Do you need to know that? Do you want to hear from the guys in the corner?
I mean, I always wanted the direction, and whenever I had guys, I would always think to try to, whenever I was cornering guys, I would try to give very specific one-line directions because you can't hear everything. You're not going to have a conversation with your fighter, but you're going to say hands up,
Right.
hard punch, combos, leg kick, whatever.
I mean, it's hard to believe that Hickey does it. Of course, Hickey knows that he's behind, but to hear that encouraged might be a little boost of energy that he needs because he needs to do something. He's got 60 seconds here.
Agreed. And Gluzman's not at all worried about this takedown, if you notice. I mean, he's really not concerned, but there we go. Hickey got it. Now,
That was huge.
yes, can he keep him here? Less than a minute to go.
That was a terrific job by Hickey when he needed it the most.
But as we talked about, best case scenario, it's 1-1.
Right, but best case scenario, it's 1-1. Best case scenario, he's winning this round.
And he's rolling for that leg of Hickey right now. Although there's no heel hooks, as we saw earlier, there are straight ankle locks, knee bars. Or even just using that leg. Oh, he's got to be careful.
Well, you're going to have to explain what's going on here. Because
he's trying to isolate the leg to look for a lock, but he's got to be careful because that can easily turn into a rotational leg lock.
Well, he's only got 20 seconds to work. Is this enough here in the eyes of the judges?
I wouldn't want to be the judge.
I don't know. It's very interesting.
I mean, I got to say, even if you give the grappling to Hickey, I would say that Gluzman controlled the cage and he had more striking.
I would think too that he won the first two. It's almost irrelevant what happened there. I just it was too little, too late.
Yeah, I mean, I would, if I was a betting man, I would say this looks like a split decision for the challenger.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I wouldn't doubt it if one judge sees it the other way, but my bet would go on. It's a split decision.
A strange non-reaction from the crowd too.
Well, we don't know how many beers they drank in that intermission. That was a long intermission. We're waiting for the ambulance.
The fight just kind of ended. It was just kind of like.
But again, this was a very technical fight.
Yes,
this wasn't a huge fireworks fight.
I enjoyed it.
Oh, so did I, because the skill was definitely evident.
It was pretty high level. Slight edge to the challenger, but it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if Hickey retained his title.
And again, that's why, like we talked about, you never want to let it go to the judges. You just don't.
He's making his way over here, the scientist. Boy, when you get up close, you see the damage, right? The welts, and the stuff that you don't necessarily see at home. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but. His opponent did some work. Both men did some work. I think Gluzman did a little more work tonight.
And the scores are coming into the cage right now. Dan Mergliotta, Tim Rankins, and Mike Falvo checking out the scorecards. All right, let's see. We got Dan Mergliotta bringing him to the center of the ring. Let's bring it up to Mike Falvo.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for these great fighters in one hell of a championship fight. And now, after 3 rounds of hard-fought mixed martial arts action, we go to the judges' scorecard. Judge number 1 scores the fight 29-28. Judge number 2 scores the fight 29-28. Judge number 3 scores the fight 30-27 for your winner and new bantamweight champion, Alex Gluzman.
And as we said, it was best case 1-1, and it could have been 2-0.
And I think that we were spot on with that. I don't think anybody's upset with that decision. That was.